Welcome to True North Podcast. I'm your host, Beth Merrick. True North Media Company. It's kind of the new flashy name that I'm giving it. It is a podcast. It is a blog. It is a way for communication to occur between my clients, between my coworkers, and it's just another way of learning through audio. We're going to be discussing a couple different topics in podcast 2. So stay tuned, sit down, grab a cup of tea, let me know your thoughts on any of the subjects that we discussed today. And now, please enjoy a word from one of our sponsors.
Hello, Travel Queens. This is Erin Adams, the CEO of Queen of Fun Travel. Queen of Fun Travel is a woman-owned and operated luxury travel agency planning travel for sassy, savvy travel queens everywhere. This year, I recently sat down with Candace McDonald of Copper Whale Inn in Anchorage, Alaska, to talk about running and operating a woman-owned business. Take a listen.
Hello, Travel Queens. It's Erin Adams from Queen of Fun Travel, and we are here today in Anchorage, Alaska, at the Copper Whale Inn with one of the Copper Whale Inn's owners, Candace Kotick. Thank you, Candace, for meeting with us today. We just got off the plane, and here we are. I'm excited to stay here. But we just have a few questions just so people can get to know you. And what I love is that it is a woman-owned business and run. And Mandy Garcia is the other owner. Yes. And I've met her. And I wanted to ask, are you an Alaskan native?
Yes, I was born and raised here. So I'm not Alaskan native by heritage. But was born and raised Alaskan. So.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a native Alaskan, but I am Alaskan. I'm a native to Alaska.
You are a native to Alaska. And what city? Were you born in Anchorage?
Yes, I was born in
Anchorage.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you ever, go on vacations outside of...
Yes.
You ever travel outside of Alaska? And
yes.
Are you happy to get away?
I do. I travel a lot. I think getting into tourism, my thought was that I would be, off in the winters. But tourism in Alaska is actually year-round. And now that I'm getting busier and bigger and well-staffed, Mandy and I are able to actually take vacations really any time of year now, which is nice, but we are not closed in the winter.
Now, how many years did it take to get to this point?
A lot of years.
Yeah.
Salmonberry started in 2005.
Okay, what's Salmonberry? Let's tell everybody.
Salmonberry Tours is a small van tour company, so we do small group. And by small group, I don't mean 50 people. I mean 12 people-ish at a time, 15 people maybe sometimes. So we have a fleet of small vehicles, and we take people all over Alaska and share our local expertise with visitors.
It's great because I know we can just call you and you can, make a whole itinerary for our clients. And it's really helps us so much.
And with hotels too, not just this one that we now own, but with hotels and trains and flight seeing and all kinds of things. Yeah, so some of it we got ourselves, and then the rest we put together in the itinerary.
And how long have you had Salmonberry?
2005 for Salmonberry, but the hotel only since 2019.
Oh my goodness! It's only been
right before the pandemic, so that was
exciting.
What was
before? What was this building before? It's historic, isn't it?
This was originally a house, so it was built in 1939 by a local doctor, and it was a house for a long time. And I'm not sure when it transitioned from being a lived-in home to being more of a business, but before it was a B&B. It was some law offices, and then before that it's hazy when it went from being the family home to being more of a business. In the 80s, it became a B&B. So I'm not the first or second or third owner of this B&B.
What makes the Copper Whale Inn special from the other places that are? Looks like they're further back.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the waterfront.
The location is absolutely ideal. So sometimes when I'm looking out the window out in the kitchen, I just think like, we own this. This is amazing.
I know.
It's truly a beautiful spot. You can get right onto the 11-mile coastal trail along the water, but also on the other side of the building is all of downtown. So walking distance from all of the tours, the museums, the shuttles to the Alaska Native Heritage Center and other attractions, and all the best restaurants. Well, there are a few really good restaurants not in walking distance, but many of the best restaurants too are within walking distance right here.
And it is such a walkable downtown. Like the last time I was here in September, I said, this is the cleanest downtown I've ever seen in my life.
I love that.
And it really was just, it was really nice. It's not like crowded, and it's just it's a pleasant place to be. But you know what, I wanted to ask you too, like, how did you and Mandy start? Like, did you know each other from a long time ago? How did all this start?
No, we didn't know each other, actually. So I started Salmonberry in 2005 by myself. And I initially was sort of, kind of testing the waters. I worked for Holland America before that, which many of us did in our industry, right?
Really?
And it's like kind of your tourism intro training ground, is that sort of syndicate of companies and job opportunities. And I just thought, like, the whole huge group thing just isn't that fun. As far as like from an employment standpoint, it's not as fun of an experience. And I thought, I want to do something smaller where I can really get to know the travelers, right? But I didn't really have any sort of investment funds for that, so I started doing walking tours first, which were not like super successful. I don't know why. Well, there was a free walking tour. I was young and dumb then.
That's how you get to where you're going,
right? And so then I got one vehicle, and then the following year, like, one other tour guide, and then two, and then in year 4 is when Mandy came as a tour guide, and she was just like a storm of, feminine power and drive, and like just what I needed in my life. So that was in 2009, and then she became a partner in the business in 2015, I think. Yeah, 2015. We had this big joke. I was having twins, but we didn't know that at the time. But I was pregnant, and I thought maybe it was twins, and she was like, if it's twins, I quit. Of course she was joking, right? And I was like, so the Copper Whale actually, for many years, already was our number one choice for where we put our clients, right? And it was very well run. We loved the guy that ran it, but he didn't own it. And then he eventually left after running it for something like 12 years. And then the actual owners of this hotel, I think, through that next period, were really just on the struggle bus trying to find someone as good as him. They had been retired, and basically moved back to Alaska to run the hotel, and then finally were like, we gotta do this. So they actually invited us to lunch, and we were thinking, like, what do they want to talk about, right? Because we never, like, we didn't really know them, right? We knew the guy who ran it for them, and we know him still pretty well, and like, what do they want to talk about? And so we go have lunch with them, and they said, like, we don't want to come out of retirement to run this, and we haven't been able to replace him, and we think really just we want to sell the Copper Whale, but we thought we should just see if you guys were interested. And Mandy was like, that's crazy, and I was like, yes. And I'm definitely the crazier of the two of us.
And that's how you balance each other out.
Yes, it is. We're the perfect yin and yang. Anyway, so we won, and now here we are with a hotel. I've never even worked at a hotel, but it's going great.
Well, yeah, you must just inherently have like the 7-star customer service, you know.
I mean,
gift.
that's part of it. Just the willingness to make sure that the quality is there, and this isn't a huge hotel, right?
How many rooms?
15.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, I kind of told myself, like, what's the worst that could happen? I have to clean all 15 rooms myself one day? Like, it's fine. It'll be fine. But that has never happened.
And what would you say, like, I mean, what's the most special thing about staying here? Like, what is the best thing about your service here?
Well, we have very personal service. Since COVID, we've been doing entirely self-check-in and self-check-out, but my manager keeps in very good contact with everyone, makes sure that they know how to get in, where their room is, what to do if they have any questions. We meet people here whenever we can these days, right? And the buildings are unique, like old building, all the rooms are different, which is, you know, sometimes great, and for some people they don't love that, but all the rooms are different. Yeah, so there's not a single room that is the same as any other room. And I'm trying to bring back a little bit of the like 1920s and 30s Anchorage into the decor, but redecorating, you know.
Is that what's behind?
One room at a time.
What's behind Beth there filming that?
Right.
Something you're gonna hang up when
yes,
you get it
something
over.
I'm gonna hang up, right. So some of that historic feel was sort of interior decorated out of it, I think, in the 90s. And so I've been trying to bring some of that back into some of the room designs, theming the rooms, and
I think
top-notch
people will
service
really
and cute rooms and coziness, and
people will really enjoy
location,
that.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
decor and just the and you do serve breakfast here. I saw
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
And Lorene is your manager.
Yes.
She very personal. Like so far.
Right, she
It's
likes to
been
make
super-
sure she
she's
knows
like,
you got
"Please,
here.
I'm a mother hen,
Uh-huh.
and please let me know you got here." So I have to like
Let her
text
know,
as soon as
'cause if
we
you
get done
don't,
here.
she will
Yeah.
wonder.
And work-life
Oh, okay.
balance. Did we cover work-life balance?
No, not yet.
No, yeah, should we?
um,
Well, because I think I asked you what's most crucial in your service, but I wanted to ask what makes you stand apart from the competition. But that's clear. Like this is a personalized service.
yeah.
It's kind of a repetitive question. But are you able to have work-life balance now?
I am now. You know, I didn't worry as much about it before Mandy and I started having all of these children. But we also, you know, our spouses knew what they were getting into, and so we both have very, as husbands go, very like they participate, they know what to expect, and they also kind of know the times of year that we're going to be less able to do even half of the parenting of children.
Right.
So, and they get better and better. I mean, I would say as moms we still do the majority of the parenting, but we are both very lucky in the spouse department, and we've spent many years training them that we have to dedicate to these children as well.
So that's the key is training the husband.
Training the husband, yes.
That's the key, ladies.
Training
to
the
a
dad
successful
of the
business.
children to actually be the dad,
And that's a huge thing too, though. Like
Mhm.
sometimes when you own your own business, you just will work, and you don't transition out. I'm doing that now, and slowly transitioning, out of doing so many bookings. So because the whole thing is building the business around your life.
Right. I don't create itineraries for people anymore, and that kind of thing. So I do more of the overarching management of both businesses. And we do have lots of moms too that work for us. We actually have our own summer camp now.
Really?
Yeah, so all of the Salmonberry kids, currently there's no one at that camp age for employees that work here, but all the Salmonberry kids have camp together in the summer.
Where
Day camp.
do they go?
They start at my house
Oh.
every
Okay.
morning, which, you know, is a double-edged sword. It's like loud in the mornings, but then they leave for hours and hours, and I don't have to drop my kids off anywhere. So of all the moms, I'm kind of luckiest because I don't have to do parent pickup and parent drop-off for camp.
Okay.
It's the worst part of summer camp.
And someone
dropping
just
off and picking up.
entertains them all day.
And we have camp counselors, and we have a vehicle, and they go on all kinds of adventures around Alaska. So
Oh, how
we'll
fun.
do like gardening class at the botanical gardens. Oh, they also have their own garden on my property, the kid camp garden. They have their own garden plots. It's really cool.
That is really cool.
Right. They
And
hike everywhere. They go on the train once every summer, and man, they just. All the moms are just constantly jealous of the things that they're doing.
well, they're getting an appreciation of where they're growing
Yes.
up and like of the
Yeah.
of the land.
Yes.
Because it's a big thing is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I notice is Alaskans really take care of their land. And
That's a
protect
big
that
deal.
land.
Yeah, in the beginning of camp every summer they do the recycling center and the wildlife center, the botanical gardens, and kind of learn all about you know, taking care of the world around us and making sure it doesn't get spoiled. So
Yeah.
they do trash cleanup too
Oh,
in the beginning
wow.
and in the fall. And, yeah, it's
You're
really
creating good citizens.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I guess the only other thing I'd add is just like the local touch, I think, is the other big difference for the Copper Whale and Salmonberry, is that we hire all Alaskans. So,
Okay.
so all of our guides and our employees here all live here year round. And I think that adds kind of an element of personal stories and information and anecdotes and just like a real like meet a local sort of feel, but like on every single tour.
It adds a level of, what is the word I'm looking for? I think it might have been the same thing you're looking for. It's more, not like the clients would, you're more trustworthy, but it's like that. Like,
Right.
it's more
Like
real.
local
Like,
knowledge.
it's more
Right.
authentic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
the
also
word. It's
casual.
more authentic. Authentic.
Also casual, right? Like,
Yeah.
none of my guides are dressing up in their like suits or I don't know. We have like a vest, and that's our only sort of uniform piece.
And people like that because they're really living the Alaska life. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
people want, they're very curious about how you live here.
Yes.
That's the big thing. Is
Yeah.
like how you live here, and you know, like what do you do when it's dark for almost 24
Right.
hours? Like, what's that? I'm just gonna ask you, what's that like? Like,
I mean, it's dark.
Like-
It's not as dark here in Anchorage.
okay,
We do operate in Fairbanks right now as well in the wintertime. It's much darker up there, although now it's March, so, you know, things are getting nice and bright. But, yeah, you know, I guess it's hard for me to say because I grew up here.
so you're used to
And
it.
so I'm pretty used to it. But, you know, the older I get, the more I have to make an effort to be out there during the darkest part. So December and January, it's like the sun is officially up about 5 hours, which is a lot more than Fairbanks.
Okay.
And then further north, there's even less time that the sun is up. But you just have to make an effort to get out there when it is. So like, take a walk at lunch.
have you met anybody that like just moved here that was like struggling with that?
Yes.
And then the daylight, like,
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
Yes, many people. And you know, we take people around on tours that are thinking of living here. I even had a recruiter for the hospitals once, and I told her throughout our day together, back when I guided the tours myself, I said, here's what you gotta do. They need to get here in February, because it's starting to get lighter, and then our winter festival for Rondi comes, and Iditarod, and then like it's summer. Because all she had to do is get him past 6 months.
Right.
And then by the time you get to November, contract fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody starts in October, I could totally understand how it would be hard to move to Alaska. It's like if you landed here in October and you didn't know anyone, you didn't have any family, and it's starting to get dark, and then it starts getting cold, and then it starts snowing, and then the holidays come, And if they're not going to go home wherever they just came from for the holidays, then by the time January is long and dark. By the time they get to January, it is rough. So yes, I
Okay.
have met a lot of people who had a hard time with it. But
Yeah.
if you just begin at the correct time of year, get a little taste of winter, right? Then you have a great summer. And then by the time you get to winter again, you know, you can manage through
It's not that big of a deal.
December, January,
Yeah, that
because
makes
then
sense.
February is fun time again.
I'm glad you said that because, you know, I don't know, someone might be watching this thinking of
Yeah.
living here. So.
Yeah. Well, and if you get out and do stuff, like, also once people have lived here long enough and kind of get into the culture and get out and do, like, downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, even, like, running in the winter is totally a thing. There's all kinds of clubs for outdoor activities and ice climbing and just, like, if you really get out and do that stuff, ice skating, we have outdoor ice skating places and sledding events, and if you really just, like, get into what the locals are doing, then it's really a fun time. Yeah.
It sounds like I think I'd like to spend a year here just working.
Yeah.
My husband wouldn't.
He wouldn't want to do
Wouldn't
it.
have it. Nope.
I mean, you know, we kind of plan our travel around the darkest.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to leave in January.
Yeah. I mean, I literally could ask you, like, I don't expect you to answer this, but, like, at any other time, I'd be like, walk me through your daily routine. Like, you know, like, winter, summer. Like, that's how nosy I am. I love to hear people's daily routines.
Yeah.
Like, how do other people live? And that's the best thing about travel is seeing how other people live. And Alaska's just one of those places.
In the
people are
summer,
curious
you
about.
have to, like, really train your children, like, and they try. Once your children go old enough to figure it out, you can see when they're on the edge because they'll still try. But the sun is still up. And I'm like,
Oh, no. It's like a whole new set of problems.
But it's summertime, so the sun isn't going to go down. You're going to go to bed, and when you wake up, it's going to be up.
Do you
So
have, like,
it's fine.
blackout curtains? I'm
In
guessing.
my room, I do.
Mm.
The kids doesn't bother
I
them.
don't care. Interesting.
Yet. Probably when they're 40, they'll probably have blackout curtains. But when I was a kid, I have no recollection of it bothering me at all as a kid. But now that I'm older, I'm like, make the room completely
Oh.
like
You go through seasons. And
yeah. Now that I'm older, I want to, like, block out the sun so I can go to sleep.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Like, that was so fun
Anytime.
talking to you. And everybody is Cody. And Mandy Garcia is somewhere. But, yeah, come see the Copper Whale.
Yeah.
We'll show you, go around.
Thank you for listening to our series, Podcast Stories, where we talk about business. Coming up in Podcast 3, we will continue to explore all things travel, wellness, and adventure. Stay tuned. Happy autumn equinox. Today is the first day of autumn, so we're going to delve a little deeper into some fun and festive alternative places that you can consider for your travels. We'll also be discussing in Podcast 3 some of the recent adventures that I took over the summer to Scotland, hiking the West Highland Way, and my little jaunt over to Iceland, where I got to explore the geothermal spas around Ring Road. Be happy, be well, and continue being inspired for travel, wellness, or adventures. Happy travels, everyone.